Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Melissa and I'm a nursing student. So I'm going to go right ahead into today's video, which is a what's in my bag video, but today's video is going to be a clinical bag edition. So I'm in nursing school, I have clinicals at the hospital that I have to do, and today I'm going to be going over what is in my bag or what I pack in my bag for clinicals. This is my clinical bag, which is very heavy because it has a lot of stuff in it. Today is Sunday, so I'm filming this on Sunday. My last clinical was yesterday on Saturday. So this is everything that I packed in my bag for yesterday's clinical. I did not take anything out. I didn't put anything in. This is a very real and raw what is in my bag video. And I will just say that I've seen a bunch of these videos on TikTok and a couple of them on YouTube. And almost all the videos that I've seen, the bag is like cute and pink, or it's some type of designer. I don't have that, even though I love all those things. I love pink, I love like traditional girly, I love designer bags. For clinical, this bag is not fancy at all. It was actually given to me for free, or included in my tuition by my school, which is Chamberlain University, which is why it has like my school's colors. But they gave all the students this bag with stuff in it for fundamentals of patient care. So we all got stuff in it, like everything that we would need for that class. All that I did when it came time for clinicals was I emptied out the bag and I put my stuff in it, just because as much as I would love to have a cute pink bag, I love to not spend money unnecessarily also. So I just want to say, if you are attending nursing school or you're looking for like what to put in your clinical bag, I just want you all to know you don't need to spend extra money, or you don't need anything super cute. You just need something to hold your stuff because that's exactly what I have. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I think I'm actually going to prop up my bag like this so you guys can like see it while I'm going through it actually. So the first thing that I have in my bag that I think everybody needs to have is hydration. This water bottle, and I can go ahead and link everything down below that like I bought that you guys might want to get yourselves. I'll put a link down to everything down below. But this is, I have a hair tie first off. My bag is full of a bunch of loose random hair ties. So this is a water bottle. It is 24 ounces, so it's 3 cups of water, which is pretty good. I wanted something that wasn't too bulky or too crazy. This is nice and slim. It, I think, is more sanitary because, I don't know if you can see, but like the water bottle part or the straw part can kind of tuck in. I think that if you were in the hospital doing clinicals, you don't know what type of air is in the environment, so I like to always make sure that I have a water bottle that has some type of a cover so that my like mouthpiece is not just exposed to the environment in the hospital. But this is nice. It has a straw, so you don't have to be tilting the water bottle up. You can just hold it upright, sip into it. And the company, I think, is very popular. It's an SLM. Okay, so that is what it is. It's like a SLM water bottle, or I don't know if it's SLM or if it's like S/M. But I think that these are pretty popular. I love pink, so I got it in pink. This was an amazing purchase. It is easy. If I'm charting at the nurse's station, I can take it with me. I pretty much just kind of pick it up and take it with me everywhere except for, of course, in patient rooms. But it is amazing, and I highly recommend this water bottle. And I don't think it's too expensive. It's nothing crazy like a Yeti or anything like that, but it's not like $5. I think I probably paid like maybe 15 bucks for it. I'm not sure, but I'll go ahead and link it down below. And then also in the side pocket, I have a pen. Nothing crazy, it's just a big pen that looks like it's starting to leak. You will need pens at clinical. My bag is probably full of pens. When you're at the hospital, people will steal your pens. You will unintentionally probably pick up someone else's pen and steal it. So my advice is to not take, like if you have a pen that you have some type of emotional attachment to, or I know that it's popular for nursing students to like buy cute fancy pens, because I've seen those on TikTok. I would advise against that. I think you just need something plain, because chances are it will unintentionally get stolen by a nurse, another nursing student, a doctor, or even a family member. Just don't take anything too valuable at clinical. So next I have hand sanitizer. And this is like a super small Bath & Body Works hand sanitizer. This is the blackberry and basil. Oh, it actually smells amazing. I love this scent. It has like little antibacterial beads in it. So I have that. It smells really good, and I keep it in the side of my clinical bag apparently. Now in the other side pocket of my clinical bag, I have this Yeti mug in white. So when I'm at clinical, since we have to wake up super early, and most of the time my clinical sites are in another state, so half the time I'm waking up at like 4:30 to make sure I'm at the hospital by 7. So I always take with me either coffee or tea, black tea. And so yesterday I took Earl Grey tea, but most of the time I take coffee. This was a gift. It's a Yeti. I don't know if you can see the logo, but this is just like a Yeti standard tumbler, I guess. I don't know how many ounces it is, but it's like 2.5 cups. It keeps things boiling hot. I took Earl Grey tea yesterday morning to the hospital. So I brewed it maybe 10 minutes before I left, put the lid on it. It took me over an hour to get to the hospital, and I literally couldn't drink it in the car because it was so hot I had to take off the lid. So this will keep your beverages either super ice cold for like 4 to 5 hours, or it'll keep your beverages scalding hot like half the day. This is incredible and I highly recommend it. I'm not going to show you guys the full thing because my company logo is on the back and I don't want you guys to know where I work. But I highly recommend getting a Yeti if you are at clinicals. And I know that the Stanley Cup is becoming really popular for some reason, especially amongst like nursing students and everything on TikTok and Instagram. I think the Yeti is a little bit more affordable and I think it works just fine personally. I don't think you need to go spend extra money to get a Stanley Cup if you don't already have one. What else is in here? I have scissors in here. I have no idea why. They're not even medical scissors. They're just regular scissors. That's in my bag. Okay, so I also have a highlighter in here. Nothing fancy, just a Sharpie. I guess I tossed it in here. To be honest, I see a lot of nursing students online getting like packs of Sharpies for clinical, and I don't really know what they're using them for. Even though I have this Sharpie in my clinical bag, apparently, I have never once highlighted anything at clinical ever. Pens, obviously you need pens. You're gonna be writing a lot. But in terms of like a Sharpie, I really don't know what you would need to highlight. So my personal advice to nursing students, or if you're starting nursing school, you're about to start clinicals, I don't personally think you'd need to get highlighters. I don't know what other people use them for. If you're a nursing student and you use highlighters at clinicals, please comment down below and let me know what you're highlighting because I'm genuinely curious. So now I'm gonna look in the middle front pocket. And usually I keep my snacks in here, and yep, I have a banana. So 9 times out of 10, I'll take a fruit for a snack. And not even because I'm trying to be healthy, although it is really good and healthy, but most of the time it's just the quickest thing for me to grab and put into my clinical bag. So most of the time I'll take a banana or grapes, just because I'll literally take a handful of grapes or take like grapes on the stem. I'll rinse them, wrap them in paper towels, and I'll just toss them in my bag, and that way I can just kind of get out of the house. But it's good to pack food, especially healthy food, to clinical because you never know what the hospital cafeteria situation is going to be like. My school's policy, at least, is that you're not supposed to leave for breaks. Like whenever you take a lunch break, you're supposed to take your break inside of the hospital's cafeteria. And so I've now been to 3 different clinical sites. Only the first site had an amazing like food situation. That first clinical site that I had, they had like a real Subway inside of their cafeteria, and then they had other stuff. They had like a salad place and whatnot. So I would typically buy lunch when I was at that clinical site, and thank God the Subway wasn't overpriced. So it was the same as just like going to a regular Subway. You could get a sub for like $4 or $5. But the other 2 clinical sites that I've been to, the cafeteria situation has not been great. So that way I always just pack my snack. If I get hungry, I can eat the food that I brought. I can also save some money. I have an alcohol prep pad, and I don't know, it's Medline, so this is, I was gonna say, I don't know if I stole this from the hospital. I don't know if you call it stealing, but alcohol pads are very important. Mostly I just use this for my pens and for my stethoscopes. So between patients, you are really supposed to be sanitizing your stethoscope because you don't want one patient's germs to be getting on another patient, and you don't want the patient's germs to be getting on yourself. Or sometimes if your classmate forgets a stethoscope, you can kind of help them out and, you know, let them borrow it, but you can use this to clean the earpiece. So it's always good to have alcohol prep pads in your clinical bag. Or like pens, if you're picking up someone else's pen, just kind of periodically I'll clear out my pen just so that I don't get sick at the hospital, because I don't know whose pen I accidentally stole, and I don't know whose you know, picking up my pen to use it. So this is definitely a necessity. I have more hand sanitizer in here. This is Vanilla Bean Noel, and it's also from Bath & Body Works. I love Bath & Body Works because they have sales all the time, and it smells like Vanilla Bean Noel. Okay, so the last 3 things that I have in this front pocket are another pen. You need a lot of pens at the hospital. I have my Bare Minerals lip gloss, which I don't really know why I have this in here. Probably for like lunchtime and when I'm leaving the clinical site. Pretty much all hospitals, at least in my area, require you to be wearing a mask, so no one can really see my face anyway, but I really like makeup and looking nice. So I guess this is just like a nude shade. In case anyone's curious, this is in Minx, and it is their Brilliant Gloss. I love Bare Minerals because it's very natural. And then the last thing that I have is this. I don't know if you can see it with the glare, but they are just headphones. They're, what is it, like the wireless earphones? I have AirPods. I have AirPods. So I do own AirPods by Apple. They are by far the best headphones I've ever had, but I don't like to take anything expensive to the hospital. So I also just had this laying around the house. They are wireless. They work exactly the same as AirPods. They look like AirPods, but only in pink. And so I keep these in my bag if I want to listen to music or if I want to make a phone call or just anything. I just keep these in my bag. And that way, if I lose them, I think they're only like 10 bucks at TJ Maxx. So if I lose them, it's not like I lost $150 to $200. Okay, and so the back of this does not have anything. So that's everything that is outside of my clinical bag. Now I'm going to go inside of my clinical bag. So this is what the inside of it looks like with all my stuff. As you will see, I kind of use it as like a dumping ground, which isn't a really good example for you guys, but whatever. So the first thing that I have is my binder. This binder, I take it with me everywhere, like everywhere relation to nursing school. I don't know if you can see it, but it has like unicorns on it. I got it from Target for maybe like $2-3 bucks. I just wanted something cute and fun. So mostly I keep my clinical work in here. We have a lot of clinical work that we have to do. So we'll go to the hospital for an 8-hour clinical day or for a 12-hour clinical day, depending on what class you're taking. And then we have take-home work that we have to do on top of that. So we have worksheets that we have to do. We have a reflection that we have to write. Everything that we do, at least at my school for clinicals, should be handwritten. So I do actually have to use a physical piece of paper. And so I just keep everything in my binder. I bought a hole puncher, so, you know, I keep everything inside of here. I recently lost the hole puncher, so there are a lot of things just in this pocket, but most things I like to keep inside of my actual binder, like with the rings on it. So I keep this in my clinical bag most of the time, but then sometimes during the week I'll take it out and I'll put it in my book bag to take it to school. Ooh, this is probably my favorite thing in my clinical bag. So this is a foldable clipboard. So this is what it looks like when it's folded. It is amazing. And it's specifically for nurses. So they have like different normal ranges on here. There's like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has like some normal lab values. It has like what a normal temperature should be. It has like different weight conversions on it. It's just, it has like, it's kind of like a little cheat sheet. It's really amazing. And then they have like different injection sites, how you should give injections. It has diagrams, and it's a 3-fold foldable clipboard that I got on Amazon. I'll link it down below. And so it folds out to this, which is incredible. I put my papers here. At clinicals, even though charting is done digitally by the nurses, you do have papers that you write on, like patients' face sheets and stuff like that. If you're a nursing student, even more so, you're using papers more than the actual nurses because you're using paper more than you're using the electronic medical record system. So literally at clinical, I will have a stack of papers and I keep it in this clipboard. And then that way, when it's time to go, because you really don't have that much time that you're sitting around as a nursing student. So when it's time to go or go into a patient's room, I will fold it up with the papers inside. So yes, my papers get folded. I fold it up and I stuff it in my pocket. What is amazing about this, because I've seen a lot of foldable clipboards at the hospital used by the nurses, All of the nurses that see this are super impressed by this because it's a 3-fold. A lot of the nurses or a lot of people have a 2-fold. So it's like a clipboard that folds in half. But most people's scrubs can't fit that because it's still super huge. Because this is a 3-fold, I'm able to put it in my pocket and go. So I would highly recommend this. This is a lifesaver because you're on the go. You're going to be writing. You need something hard to write on. This is so convenient. And then again, the fact that it's a 3-fold means that it will fit into almost any pocket that you have, no matter how small your scrub pockets are. So I have a notebook, of course, in addition to my binder. Let me see if it's, oh, there's nothing classified in here, but it is my schoolwork, so I don't want to show it to you guys because I don't ever want to like cross the line of cheating. So one of the things that we have to do each week for clinical work or for our clinical assignments is that we have to write a weekly reflection. And of course that's handwritten. So what I'll do is I will, like if I'm out at lunch or if I just have a moment, if we're taking like a morning break or an afternoon break, I will start my reflection in this journal while I'm at the hospital, while it's still fresh in my mind. And that's just a tip. If you have to write a reflection for your clinical work, I advise starting it at the hospital if you have a moment. That way it's fresh in your mind exactly what you did, exactly what medications were administered and everything like that. Okay, so the next thing that I have in here is a phone case. What's amazing about this phone case, it's by Casely, is that it is a charger. So I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like a little port at the bottom. But I can put my phone in this, and if you guys can see, but there's a little on button here. You really can't see it on camera, but there's an on button here and I can charge up my phone. This will give my phone like probably a solid 2 full charges, and it charges really, really quickly. I would say that I find this more useful during my 12-hour clinicals versus my 8-hour clinicals, just because an 8-hour clinical, you're really not going to be on your phone at clinicals, or at least you shouldn't be on your phone. So when I'm going to my 8-hour clinicals, I really don't need to ever use this. My phone doesn't die. But when I'm at my 12-hour clinicals, it has happened before that my phone would die. Literally just even sitting in my bag, 12 hours going by, and then I use it at lunchtime, it will completely drain my battery. So this is amazing to have. I love having this and I highly recommend it. I think it was like 35 or 40 bucks. Casely was having a sale when I got this. Normally I think they're super expensive. I think they're like 50, 60 bucks, but they do have sales. Okay, what else is in here? So I have a bunch of cover sponges. Yeah, they're all cover sponges. So just like literally a bunch of cover sponges. And what is this? Oh, a super sponge. So they're all sponges for wound care and for wounds. I did not steal these from the hospital. These came in my bag. So like I mentioned earlier, this bag was given to me by school for fundamentals of patient care, fundamental skills. It was given to me by school for fundamental skills. So it came with a bunch of stuff in it. So this, I just didn't want to throw it away or anything like that. So I just held on to it and I keep that in my bag just to have it. The hospital has them, so I don't really need it, but I feel bad just throwing it away. This next thing was also given to me by the school. So my bag came with this, and I guess I didn't use it for fundamentals of patient care, but it has bags, I guess like sanitation bags to throw things away in. Oh, it has alcohol prep pads. So this is actually really nice. I don't think I've ever opened this. So there are alcohol prep pads in here. I have cotton swabs or cotton tipped applicators. I actually could have used this yesterday. The hospital that I went to, I'm sure that they had these because they have to have them, but I couldn't find them. So I ended up just using my hand with gloves on it, which was kind of nasty. So it's good to know that this, like I have backups in here. Ooh, I have medical grade tape, which is nice. I have ABD sterile pads, so more pads. You can never have too many pads as a nurse. This is, oh, it's an IV start kit. Oh, this is cool. We didn't learn how to do, or how to start IVs in fundamentals, so I don't know how to start an IV. I don't even know if we learn how to do that in nursing school, if that's something we learn how to do after school, I'm not sure, but this is pretty cool to have. And then more alcohol prep pads. Okay, so next I have lotion. So this is nothing fancy at all. This is Gold Bond Healing Cream. This is super moisturizing. I love it. If you are a nursing student or just in the medical profession in any capacity, you know that we wash our hands like a million times a day. Every time you go into a patient's room, you have to sanitize. Every time you leave a patient's room, you have to sanitize. Honestly, between every like 4 to 5 patients, I like to go and wash my hands. If you're going into or coming out of an isolation room, you have to actually wash your hands. Your hands get very dry, and I do not like dry skin. So I have this lotion, and I am a big advocate. I don't know if I'd say advocate, that's very dramatic. I don't like using scented things at the hospital or when I'm working with patients. I know my hand sanitizer that I have is scented, but usually I don't use that hand sanitizer on the unit because there's hand sanitizer everywhere. Literally in front of every patient's room, there's hand sanitizer and there's sinks everywhere. So I really only use my scented hand sanitizers from Bath & Body Works if I'm like in the cafeteria and I'm about to eat and I just want to make sure that my hands are clean, or I always use hand sanitizer, like my own hand sanitizer, when I'm leaving the hospital. So like when I'm walking between the hospital to my car, I like to sanitize my hands before I touch my steering wheel, just because I don't like the idea of my steering wheel being contaminated. But when I'm actually in the hospital, I like to use things that are unscented because you're working with patients. Your patients could have respiratory issues. They could have allergies. They should just be in an environment where they don't have to be worrying about your scent. And so I'm personally not a fan of using fragrances at the hospital or when I'm working with patients. That's just me. So this is unscented. It kind of does have its own natural scent, but there's like no added perfumes in it. So it's like very mild, very unscented, and it is amazing. It keeps my hands moist all day. So what else is in here? So I have this little notebook. What does it say? Life is an adventure. I don't know if it'll focus. It's a little beaten up because I just throw it in my bag. And I was gonna say I didn't know if I used it. I have used it. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's writing in it. And this was actually a gift by one of my clinical instructors. She was so sweet. We went into clinical and she gave each one of us these little like notepads and a pen, which was sweet of her. And this comes in handy because I do not have a, what is it? It's like super popular. It's I forget the brand of it, but it's a drug guide. So it's like a little pocket-sized drug guide book that I know is really popular among like nursing students and medical students. I would love to have one. It's probably about this size and it has a bunch of different medications in it. It's like a little mini dictionary for medications. It looks amazing. I saw it on Amazon and it's like 20 or 30 something bucks, and I just was like, I don't want to spend money on that. So what I do instead is usually if there is a disease that I'm not familiar with or specifically medication that I'm not familiar with, I jot it down in this little notebook, and then when I'm on a break, when I'm at lunch, or when I go home, I look at this notebook and I can Google or look up that disease or that medication to know just more about it. I also use this as like a little to-do list. So if one of the nurses or just someone on the unit pulls me aside and asks me to take certain patients' vitals or to talk to certain family members, I will whip this out, and it's super like compact. I keep it in my pocket throughout clinical, and I can just jot down like little notes on things to do. We're dwindling down. I have next this long sleeve shirt. It is cobalt blue. I got it from Amazon. Of course, I'll link it down below. I love the color. I actually haven't worn it yet. I just got this. I thought I might need it yesterday. I thought I might have needed it yesterday, but I didn't. And it's in case I get cold on the unit. I can go into the bathroom, put this on underneath my scrubs. It's the same shade as my Chamberlain uniform. We wear cobalt blue. So that way, if I get cold on the unit, I can just go ahead and wear this underneath it. And that way I'm still within uniform policy for school. So sorry for all my guys watching. Well, if you're watching this, you're probably in healthcare, so it doesn't mean anything. I have a pad just in case I get my period. I don't think any more needs to be said about this. So the next thing that's in my clinical bag is my stethoscope. And this is not fancy at all. I think I got this from my university's website. This is a very basic Littmann stethoscope. Nothing fancy, nothing digital. I actually ordered it in pink, but for whatever reason it came in black, which was annoying. But I was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna return it and like exchange it because I don't wanna have to go through all of that. So it's black, it's nothing fun, it's very basic, but it does the job. And I genuinely do use this at clinical. Yesterday alone, I used it like 4 to 5 times. I had a patient and I did a health assessment on him. I did a focus assessment on him. I auscultated his lungs, his heart sounds, and his bowel sounds multiple times just because he needed that with his condition. So this is my stethoscope. And again, I hope this can be an example that you don't need anything fancy. I know that they have stethoscopes that are digital and they can like report stuff back to your phone, and they have stethoscopes that are like $100, $200, $300. To be honest, I probably will invest in a super cool one once I graduate just to have it. But at least for nursing school, you really don't need anything crazy or super expensive. Like I said, this is a basic Littmann stethoscope, and I'm able to auscultate my patients and hear everything that I need to hear. And this is perfect for me while I'm in school, I think. Okay, and the very last thing, as you can see, it's about to be empty. But the last thing in my clinical bag is actually a new addition to my clinical bag. I just purchased it last week and I'm going to return it. But it is a manual blood pressure kit. And it's in pink. I did get it in pink. It comes with its own stethoscope. And then in this little bag, I have the actual blood pressure cuff. So it has the, what is it called? The like manometer thing here. You puff it up. It gets puffed up. You release the air. You know, we all know how blood pressure cuffs work. But this was so cute. I got it on Amazon. I will not link this down below because well, since I'm not saying the name of the company, I guess it's fine for me to talk about it. This is a really crappy manual blood pressure cuff. I got this so that I could take my husband's blood pressure just to monitor his blood pressure, but also to practice, because taking someone's blood pressure manually is something that you really should know how to do as a medical professional. But because there's so many like digital and automatic blood pressure cuffs, I feel like it's a skill that a lot of people either lose or they're just not good at. I personally am really good at it, and I want to make sure that I keep that skill, which is why I purchased this on Amazon. But when I got it, it did not work. So I took my husband's blood pressure and it said that his systolic pressure was like 170 or 160, and he is healthy. He's a healthy 31-year-old Caucasian male. And I know for a fact that his systolic blood pressure is not that high. So I am 100% sure that this does not work properly. So I'm going to return it and I'm going to get a better one, probably a more expensive, higher quality one, because I think it's good to invest in this. But for right now, I just keep this in my clinical bag so that I do not lose it. And it's just easier for me to keep all my medical stuff inside of my clinical bag. But it also came with its own stethoscope so that I could hear the heartbeat in order to determine the systolic and diastolic pressure. And this is like, honestly, this is probably worse than the disposable stethoscopes that they have at the hospital in case you forget yours. This is like practically paper. It's not good at all. And this is like super uncomfortable actually. So I'm going to return this, but this is in my clinical bag. And once I get a better one, I'm going to replace it. Okay, so that is everything that is in my clinical bag. Totally empty, nothing else. Oh, just kidding. As I held it upside down, a couple more hair ties fell out. Okay, so now there's nothing left in my clinical bag. That is everything that I take to clinical. Hopefully this video is not all over the place. If you are a nursing student who does clinicals and you have something that you like really need to have in your clinical bag that I don't have in mine, please comment down below, because I'm always curious what people keep in their clinical bags and just like what they take to clinical and what they use. I love watching these videos. So hopefully you guys enjoyed mine. If you have any questions, comment down below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next video. And thank you so much for watching my video.